A call that could shift the trajectory of the war has taken place. US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin engaged in a 2.5-hour conversation, resulting in what is being described as the most significant diplomatic breakthrough since the conflict began. The White House and the Kremlin confirmed that the two leaders had agreed to a 30-day ceasefire targeting energy infrastructure, a fragile truce that could either serve as a stepping stone toward broader negotiations or merely a strategic pause in the fighting. Trump, taking to his social media platform, Truth Social, hailed the conversation as very good and productive, calling the agreement to halt attacks on energy facilities the first step toward a complete ceasefire and, ultimately, an end to this very horrible war between Russia and Ukraine. The White House reinforced Trump's announcement, stating that negotiations would begin immediately to implement a maritime ceasefire in the Black Sea, moving toward what it called a full ceasefire and permanent peace. Despite the announcement, Putin stopped short of agreeing to a total ceasefire, committing only to refraining from targeting energy facilities for 30 days. The Kremlin made its conditions clear. Any meaningful de-escalation must include an immediate halt to Western military aid and intelligence sharing with Kyiv. The key condition for preventing the escalation of the conflict and working towards its resolution by political and diplomatic means should be a complete cessation of foreign military assistance, the Kremlin stated. Moscow further emphasized that any lasting resolution must be comprehensive, sustainable, and long-term, addressing Russia's security concerns and the so-called root causes of the war. Putin also warned that Ukraine could exploit the temporary truce to rearm and mobilize more troops, raising concerns that hostilities might resume with even greater intensity once the ceasefire expires. In a move framed as a humanitarian gesture, Putin announced that a prisoner exchange would take place on March 19th, with 175 captives from each side being released. Additionally, 23 severely wounded Ukrainian servicemen currently being treated in Russian medical facilities would be transferred back to Ukraine. Despite the temporary ceasefire agreement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of continuing its attacks. Within hours of the Trump-Putin call, Ukrainian cities came under renewed bombardment. Unfortunately, there have been hits, specifically on civilian infrastructure. Zelensky posted on X, listing a Shahed drone strike on a hospital in Sumy, missile attacks on Donetsk region, and the presence of Russian attack drones over Kyiv, Zhytomyr, Sumy, Chernihiv, Poltava, Kharkiv, Kirovohrad, Dnipropetrovsk, and Cherkasy. Zelensky further accused Putin of effectively rejecting the proposal for a full ceasefire, urging the international community to take action. It would be right for the world to respond by rejecting any attempts by Putin to prolong the war. Sanctions against Russia, assistance to Ukraine, strengthening allies in the free world, and working towards security guarantees. And only a real cessation of strikes on civilian infrastructure by Russia as proof of its willingness to end this war can bring peace closer. However, Zelensky reiterated that he is prepared to support any proposals that lead to peace with Russia, but Ukraine must be part of the negotiations.
We support all steps towards ending the war. We will give support, but in order to support something, we need to understand what specifically it is. If President Trump can find time, he is a busy man. If he has time, he can phone at any time. We are ready to pick up. We are ready to discuss the next steps with him.
With battlefield dynamics shifting, the real question remains: will Ukraine accept or resist this phased ceasefire? Or is this truce merely a tactical maneuver by Moscow